because in Germany, significant changes in medical marijuana reimbursement took effect last week. Over 70% of physicians can now prescribe reimbursed medical marijuana without needing prior approval from statutory health insurance companies, as reported by Business of Cannabis. This comes after partial legalization started on April 1st, allowing adults over 18 to possess up to 25 grams of cannabis and cultivate up to 3 plants at home. One key development is that medical marijuana will now be regulated similarly to common medications like ibuprofen. The new reimbursement framework proposed by the Federal Joint Committee received approval on July 18th and covers approximately 90% of the population under statutory health insurance. According to a report by Prohibition Partners, medical marijuana sales in Germany are projected to reach 420 million euros in 2024, with an estimated 1 billion by 2028. Historically, about 60% of patients have paid privately, but that figure has now shifted to 80% since legalization began. Currently, only about 2,500 to 3,000 pharmacies are dispensing medical marijuana, yet many report substantial profits, with some earning up to 50,000 euros per month. While there are concerns that this change could increase insurance rates, it promises to benefit patients who struggle with the cost of private prescriptions. A formal evaluation of the law's impact is scheduled for 2025. So I think this is awesome. If you're in Germany, your insurance can now pay for your cannabis, which is huge. So that's exciting for patients, and I'll throw it back to you guys.
Huge. I mean, it's one step away from the rest of the entire EU to adopt the same measures, right? Because of their, like shared health programs and like how they, obviously every country has their own program. But if you're traveling throughout the EU and you're a resident of a nation state, member state, then you can get access to the medical services in those countries, and it's super easy. Obviously, it's a completely different system that we have here, but I think that's great because it's one step away from that becoming an international thing, which is huge for the movement. As we know here, there's been big movements for veterans, for Medicaid, to cover some of these medicines for some of these specifically veterans, but I don't think that that's really moved much. So to see this is that's like, a light at the end of the tunnel.
I think it's a lighter at the end of the tunnel. And what I think is also interesting is how much this is a boom for these export countries, such as Canada, such as the ones in South America and Central America that are allowed to do this. And it is yet another example of what the lack of federal legalization is doing to the domestic industry, because we can't put our fire into their lungs compliantly yet. But the fact that it's covered, I mean, the total addressable market in any country substantially increases when this isn't something that people have to come out of pocket for 100%. I also think it just validates cannabis as medicine. But kudos to the Germans once again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is great news. This is great news. Yeah.
I liked the story when I found it this morning. I was excited.
Mm-hmm. What, is Rico still with us?
No.
Rico's already dropped, huh?
He left. He messed our video up. He's gone.
He messed it up.
No, Willie gave him a quick call and he had to take it.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. You have any other final thoughts, Saman?
Easier off mute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Europe to me just does a lot of the things right when it comes to regulating these kinds of like social things like alcohol, like any other drugs or any other kind of like pharmaceutical. It's not as like caged as it is here. Like we live in this like caged microwave kind of society where everything needs to be quick and fast, and we don't have time for stuff. And so the fact that they just live a completely different way. They're like enjoying life as opposed to just like grinding their life away like we like to do here. So I love Europe. I mean, hopefully one day we can integrate some of those really cool ways to like, live as a society and to like help our communities and to help our citizens really thrive. Other than that, Europe is facing a lot of other troubles. So I'm glad this is going down. But who knows how things are going to shape up in the EU. They have a lot of like mounting economic crises in a lot of places. I think cannabis is a big economic healer in a lot of senses. Everywhere it goes, you could just look at the United States. There's a huge economic boom that follows cannabis. And so now we're seeing it in the Midwest. Ohio just, went recreational. So now we'll maybe see some big changes happening to those communities, a lot of infusion of much needed capital, of much needed resources. So, all in all, it's good, but like, got a long way to go to just build a better, healthier society. So hopefully that's where we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Well. Good job, Germany. And we're going to roll into a commercial. We're going to be right back.